Welcome, my viewers and my learners, to today's lesson, which is music. Hope to go along with you and enjoy the lesson. Now, in today's music lesson, we are going to have a strand as rhythm and a substrand as music rests. So enjoy, learn, and benefit as we look at music rests. What is our expectation today as we handle the substrand of music rests? Number one, by the end of this lesson, we should be able to define what a music rest is, or rather, what a rest in music is. If someone asks you what is a music rest, you should be able to define clearly. Point number two, by the end of this lesson, you should be able also to draw correctly all the music rests that we have. Let's move together. We define the rest and we draw them in our lesson. And now, to form the basis or the foundation of our lesson today, I would like us to look at what we learned in our previous music lesson. That will give us a foundation. That will give us proper knowledge on now how to understand properly what the music rests are. In our last lesson, we started by looking at music notes. And initially, there were 4 notes. Then we added 1 more note. And it came to a total of 5 music notes that we learn in grade 6. So we shall be looking at these 5 notes to see what they guide us in our grade 6. The notes are as follows. The 5 notes that we have been dealing with in our grade 6 lesson in music. The first one is the semi-breve. Then the second note is the minim. The third note is the crotchet. And lastly, we have the quiver. These are the notes that we looked at in our first step. Then thereafter, we added the 5th one, which is a dotted minim. Therefore, these 5 notes will guide us so much in our music from now onwards until probably the end of where you will be able to deal with the music. Now, this one is called a semi-breve. That name, semi-breve or minim, crotchet, quiver, or dotted minim, these are Latin names. And apart from Latin names of these music notes, we also have their French rhythm names. We need to know the French rhythm name of each of them. Then, the French rhythm names of each of these notes, as we looked in the previous lesson, are as we can see on the whiteboard, the French rhythm name of the semi-breve is ta, a, a. Then the French rhythm name of minim is ta a. The French rhythm name of our crochet, whose symbol is here, is ta. Then the French rhythm name of the quiver is tate. And the French rhythm name for the dotted minim is ta a a. Now, what's the importance of these French rhythm names? These French rhythm names, as we saw in our previous lesson, they give us the length or the value or the beats of each of these music notes. For instance, when we look at semi-breve, ta, a, this gives us how many beats are in this semi-breve. Ta, a. When we count the number of beats or the number of counts, we shall say 1, 2, 3, 4. Ta, a. 1, 2, 3, 4. So they give us how many beats are in each of the notes. And once knowing the number of beats, then we can know the value. So ta, a. 1, 2, 3, 4 means that our semi-breve has 4 beats. Rhythm name is ta a. Ta a is equivalent to 1, 2. Therefore, 2 beats. When we come to the crochet, the French rhythm name is ta. And ta means 1 beat. Ta, 1. Our number 4 note is tate. Tate, these are 2 short notes equivalent to half a beat. So the value is half a beat. When we come to the dotted minim, we explain that if somebody talks about a dotted minim, this is a minim and a dot in front of it. A minim and a dot in front of it. And what's the meaning of this dot? This dot means the note here is half the value of the note before it. Therefore, a dotted minim, this dot before it is equivalent Now we were looking at the values of each note, and we had said we get the values from the French rhythm names. We've seen the first one, which has 4 beats. That gives it its value of the semibreve. Then the meaning has 2 beats that we get from the French rhythm name ta, a. Note number 3, which is the crotchet, the French rhythm name is ta, and its value is equivalent to 1 beat. Then we came to note number 4, music note number 4, which is the quiver, and the French rhythm name for the quiver is tate. Tate, these are 2 short notes or 2 short sounds. So if we take one of them, ta alone or te alone, it is equivalent to half a beat. That's why it's called tate. And usually they are written in pairs, 2 quavers, so that they make 1 full beat. Tate, half value of each of them. Then the dotted minim. Dotted minim simply means minim and a dot. And this dot placed in front of a minim has its value equal to the note which is half of the minim. And because minim has 2 beats, we look at the note which is half the value of the minim, meaning half of 2, which is 1 beat. That definitely is the crotchet. Therefore, the value of this dot is the same as the crotchet. And this means when we come to the French rhythm names, the minim note has 2 crotchets in it. These 2 crotchets plus this 3rd crotchet, we have 3 crotchets in the dotted minim. And therefore the 3 crotchets give us the French rhythm name ta, a, a. Ta, a, a. And this ta, a is equivalent to 1, 2, 3, meaning we have 3 beats. That's now the importance of the French rhythm names. They give us the value which we get from the beats of each of our notes. And these beats will help us a great deal when we come to look at the rests and we compare the rests with our music notes that we have. Now, having known this, that is what we went through in the last lesson, we come to our today's major topic, which is now on music rests. We have the notes, music notes. Now, what is a music rest? Or what are music rests? Music rests in a music, and music definitely deals with singing. When you sing and you are given a rest in the song, it means it is a period or moment of silence. When you are given notes, in the notes you sing. In the notes you pronounce some words. It is verbal. But then when you are given a rest, it is a time for you to remain silent. You either remain silent or you hum, but you do not produce the sound of the song that you are singing. Therefore, to our definition, music rests are periods of silence in a song. A music rest indicates period of silence in a song. And when you're given period of silence, you do not sing. You remain quiet, you can hum, and maybe you remain stand still, or you can as well dance, but you do not produce any sound. If you have some other musical instruments, let's say maybe like a guitar or a piano, the tune of the piano will continue to be played. Is for the guitar, the guitarist will continue playing the guitar, but the singer will not produce any sound in the place where there's indication of rest. Therefore, in simple terms, music rests are a period of silence in a song. And this period of silence can come at the beginning of a song, it can come at the end of the stanza, or at the end of a chorus, or probably at the end of the song, or it can also be fixed in between the song depending on how the composer of the song wants it to be. Now I want us to take a few minutes. We listen to some 2 or 3 songs and we see where the rest has been used. It can come at the beginning, it can come in the middle, or at the end. We shall see those moments of rest in our songs. Now I have the first one. I want us to play and see how it is. Listen carefully to that first one and you see where the rest comes. That is where we do not pronounce any words. Up to there, we can see that the song started with the words that were being sung by these children. Then, at the end of the first stanza, we just get only musical instruments and we cannot get any words. That is a typical example of music rest. Let's move to the next one, where the rest can come at the start of a song. Let's go together. We can see that in this song, the rest comes at the beginning of the song. Let's start it again, then immediately the song starts, I cut it there. Let's listen to the song again. Up to there, we can see how the rest comes in. So the rest can come in at the beginning, at the middle, or at the end, either of a chorus, a stanza, or the whole song. Now, as I move to the next one, I don't know where the rest is. In the next song, I want you to try and see, does the rest come at the beginning, in the middle, or at the end? Let's listen to this song. Let me repeat it. Let me repeat it. Yeah, we can get it. We see that also in this song, the rest comes at the beginning of the song, where we just have musical instruments. Then after musical instruments is when the singer or the singers can sing the song. Let's listen to the last one. This is a song performed by children of Migosi Primary, a common song that we've found it all over on social media. Let's see where we get the music rest. We can get it. Let me repeat for the last time, then you get where the rest is. We can get there only music rest, where we get the beats only. So at that moment, we are all silent. Up to there. Now I hope we understand what the rest means. This is a period of silence where we only have music, music instruments being heard, and at the same time the singers, they just hum or they are quiet, but they do not produce any sound. That is what is referred to as music rest. Now, these music rests, each of the music rests is related to a music note. You cannot just use any music rest with any music note. For example, semi-breve has its own music rest. Crochet or minim, which is star A, has its rest. Crochet has its own rest. Quiver has its own rest. And the dotted minim also, it has its own rest. And I said these beats, or the value of each of the notes, is very important. Why? If I take a music rest for a semi-breve, in semi-breve we have 4 beats. When you use semi-breve note, if I use the semi-breve note, I have 4 beats that I pronounce. But if I use a semi-breve rest, it means I rest for a period equivalent to 4 beats. So the music rest for the semi-breve means I rest for a period equivalent to 4 beats of a semi-breve. If I use a minim rest, which is equivalent to 2 beats, I will rest to a period or duration equivalent to 2 beats, where I will be silent. If I use a crochet rest, the duration that I will remain silent because of the rest is equivalent to the beat of the crochet, which is 1 beat. Now let's look in the next slide, where we shall see each music note accompanied by each music rest and the value of each of them. The semi-breve, it has its rest, that is the music rest for the semi-breve, which is equivalent to 4 beats. So in case of a rest, you remain silent for a duration equal to 4 beats. If it is music notes, then you have 4 beats where you pronounce your words. Therefore, this is the rest that represents the semi-breve. Then you have the note, the rest, that represents the minim note. That is our rest that represents the minim note. And they are two. They are two. We are going to look at each of them. We have that one. Then we are going to look at the second one. The notes, the rest that represents the minim. Before we move to the next one, we have a dotted minim. So, if this one represents minim, what rest will represent a dotted minim? The rest that will represent a dotted minim is that one. And then we draw the rest. And let's not forget to include our dot. That is the rest that represents a dotted minim, which is equivalent to 3 silent notes. Then let's look at the note and the rest that represents our crotchet. Let's look at the rest that represents our crotchet. That is the rest that represents our crotchet. That is the rest that represents our crotchet. Then we have the rest that represents our quiver. The rest that represents our quiver. So we have our 5 rests. The one representing our semi-brief, which is equivalent to 4 beats. And when we come to rest, it is silent. When we come to beats, we have to produce sound. Then we have our minim. Our minim, we have its rest there, as we can see. For our minim, it is opposite of what we have as the semi-brief. Then we have our crotchet. We have our crotchet. We have its rest, drawn almost like Z or almost like 3, something like that. That is for our crotchet. Then number 4, we have a rest representing the quiver. We have the rest representing the quiver. It looks almost like 7 but tilted. That is the rest representing our quiver. Then finally, we have the rest which represents a dotted minim. You just draw the rest for a minim, then you place there your dot. It becomes the rest for our dotted minim. And it is equivalent to 3 silent beats. Then when we go to the next slide, we now can see each of the music notes, their names, and the rest that they represent. We can see each note, its name, and the rest that they represent. When we look at the first one, we have the semi-brief, and we have its note there. We move to the next one. We have the minim and its rest. Then we come to number 3. We have our crotchet, and the crotchet is also accompanied by its rest, as we can see. Number 4, we have our quiver, our note which is called the quiver, and the quiver is represented by a rest which looks almost like numeral number 7. Then lastly, we have a dotted minim with its rest. The rest is also dotted, and as you can see, a dotted rest, or you can draw that rest and you also add another rest of a crochet, because a dotted minim is the same as a minim and a crochet. So you can draw your minim rest and a dot, or your minim rest and rest of a crochet. That becomes a dotted minim for the knot and for the rest, equivalent to 3 beats. So these are the rests that you are supposed to draw. Let's omit this one first. At grade 6 level, we have these 5 rests that they go along with 5 music notes. Now in the next slide, we want to see, in summary, what is the relationship, as I've said, between each of the notes and each of the rests. What happens when you are given each of them? When you are given a semi-brief note, you sing or you clap 4 beats. And when you are given a semi-brief rest, you remain silent for a duration equal to 4 beats, which represent the semi-brief. When you are given a minim note, this is equivalent to 2 beats, ta, a. When you are given the minim rest, you remain silent for a period equivalent to 2 beats of a minim. When you are given a crochet, you have 1 long beat or 1 long sound. When you are given a crochet rest, you remain silent for a period equivalent to 1 beat. When you are given the crochet note, and remember I said here, they are usually written in pairs. That is how they are written in pairs, read as tate, 2 short notes. So when you are given these, you have 2 short notes, each of them is half a beat, and when you have their rest, you remain silent for a period equivalent to half a beat. If there are 2 tate, then you remain for that period silent. Lastly is the dotted minim. Dotted minim is equivalent to 3 beats. So when you are given a dotted minim note, then you clap, you make a beat, or you sing a period equivalent to 3 beats. When you are given a dotted minim rest, then you remain silent for a period equivalent to 3 beats. That is what we have there as our rest for today. Now, just to cap what we have looked at today under music rests, and having this, we started by defining what music rest is. And in music rest, we said a rest is a period of silence during music presentation. A rest is a period of silence during music presentation. And when you are given a rest in a music, you don't sing any words. You just hum, or you keep quiet, listening to the instruments and waiting for the time to start singing and pronouncing the words. That is music rests. Point number 3, we've looked that each rest represents a certain musical note. And for the 5 notes that we have in grade 6, each of the notes has its musical rest. Semi-brief has its rest as drawn here. Minim has its rest as drawn. Crochet also has its rest as drawn here, which you should be able to know. When we come to quiver, quiver also has its rest and the values there. And finally, our dotted minim, which simply means it is a minim and a dot. It also has its rest here, a rest for a dotted minim, meaning you rest for a period equivalent to 3 bits. That is what we have been able to cover today, and it means when you are asked to define what a rest is, then you should be able. If you are asked to draw music rests representing each music note, then you have them here. And that brings us to the last part, where I would like to leave you with an extended activity or assignment that I have it for you here, that you can do to see how much you can explain or you can handle this our today's lesson. And extended activity is, our extended activity is, get ready, draw music rests. Draw correctly music rests representing or corresponding with each music note. So you draw a music note like semi-brief and draw a music rest corresponding to it. Draw for all the music notes that we've learned, 5 of them, from semi-brief to the last one, which is the dotted minim. Draw all of them, the music notes, and draw a rest corresponding or relating to each of them. Then with that, you can give your teacher to mark. You can also cross-check from what we learned today to see, can you define what a rest is? Can you draw the rest correctly corresponding to its music notes? And with that, I come to the end of my presentation today. Thank you for being my viewer. Thank you for being my listener. Till next time, have a nice day. Thank you.